Welcome to the To Live Well podcast. I am your host, Jeff, and today we have J2K.
We'll be Jay Shady today.
Jay Shady, all right.
Jay Shady.
And special guest, Andruw Jones. Say hello, Andruw.
Hey, good morning, guys. Is it morning or afternoon?
It's morning here.
It's early morning for me.
It's morning here.
Oh, good morning.
So, you're a compelling story. I mean, 19-year-old kid, you get called up by the Braves, and you enter the World Series and hit 2 bangers. I think anybody listening would like to know, what did that feel like?
I'll be honest with you, I really wasn't thinking about anything beyond.
Yeah, just playing.
Just playing, man. A young guy trying to, chase the dream. The whole story started when I was, I was in A-ball trying to win a championship over there. And, just playing good baseball and just keep moving up to AA, then from AA to AAA, and then all of a sudden, they're like, hey, we're going to call you up. So one thing I tell I tell kids all the time, take advantage of opportunities, and I think that's what I did. Every time when they open that door, I just open it and went there and did my job and continue to open up, the next door, and then, till I made it to the major league. So, that's a short story.
Yeah,
it's a short part of the story, but be honest with you, it's just all about opportunity and continue to learn, continue to get better every year. And I think that's what the consistency of the game, develop. I mean, it's just in everything, in life, in football, baseball, basketball, whatever. You want to continue to learn and get better every year.
You grew up in Curaçao.
Mm-hmm.
How big is Curaçao for the people that don't know?
Well, I mean, Curaçao is a tiny island. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. Like you can fit the Brave Stadium in it, I guess.
Is it that small?
No.
Is it 9 miles long, a couple miles
it's
long?
It's probably about, I think, 60 kilometers.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say it in miles, but it's probably about 150,000 people on it.
Right.
I really don't know everybody, but some people do know me. But it's just a small island, It's a different island, to be honest with you. I mean, I know right now a lot of people talking about it, because it got to be more Americanized. On the American side, it used to be just a European island, and we will get all European tourism. We won't get much American, like Aruba. But we start working more into that part to get more American, and it start recognizing, and a lot of Americans going there now. Since Delta is flying there now straight, probably like 4 times a week. We getting a lot of Americans to go there and explore the island and start talking about it and see how, people see how beautiful it is. Every island is beautiful, to be honest with you, because,
right.
From the beaches to the culture, to the people are nice, people are very friendly, easy going, nobody in a rush. It's an island that used to be very, very focused on the oil refinery from Venezuela to export from there on. They come at it, they make it into gas, whatever they make it to, and they send it out to all the islands in the Caribbean. That was the focus of it. And then, on the other part is finance. It's a lot of banks there. Then it was just sport betting that came in and took a big chunk of all the industry of, people working. But I think banking and finance is one of the biggest thing on the island of Curaçao.
It's a small island, and it's heavily Dutch influenced.
Yeah, very Dutch. I mean, actually, be honest with you, it's half and half, be honest, because I think we got a lot of Latin American people there because we're so close to Latin America, South America. So, we have a lot of, it's a very mixed island, to be honest with you. It's hard to tell what really, I mean, we're an African island. It was, way back in the day, it was a trade island. All the Africans will get traded from there to other places, and people will just come and trade slaves and bring another slave in. So it was a very, African slave island. But then, the Spaniards took it over, and then the Dutch took it over. So you can see that it's a very mix from African to Spanish to Dutch. So that's what it is.
I guess my question is, how did baseball get there, being European influenced?
Well, it's been since baseball started created in the Latin America and South America. We're so close to Venezuela. I mean, look at Venezuela. I mean, Venezuela got so many baseball players. Look at the Caribbean. I think, back in the day when my dad was telling me stories, they played Cuba team, national Cuba team all the time. And Cuba was one of the big teams, in the Caribbean by being very competitive in baseball. And you can see how many guys that made it from Major League Baseball from Cuba. And, people talk so highly about Cuba for the baseball, but Curaçao been right there with them for long. It's just never got the opportunity to go out there and get people to live there and chase the dream of playing baseball. So baseball always been big there. I think, if baseball been in the United States for how long? 200 years maybe? More than that maybe, right. I don't know. It's been there almost equal. So, they know about the game, and it's always been one of the key sport on the island. Now that, soccer is getting big, now that we got chance to qualify and we made it to the World Cup. So, soccer is getting big, but we all play soccer growing up. And I think that was the easiest sport to play. People don't understand baseball is so hard because you have to buy the bat, you got to buy the glove, you got to buy the cleats, you got to ball, it's hard, and you got to find a big field. Soccer is just, and then basketball is just a ball and a shoes, and you go play. And, that's the difference of the game. But the game been big on the island forever.
So I think going back to that, as far as Curaçao and baseball and growing up, like, what was young Andruw like as far as growing up and then going into baseball? Like, what got you, like my dad just dropped me off at the rec center at 8 years old and was like, you going to play sports, period. It wasn't just football, you just going to play. But like, what basically got you into the game at a young age, and then what locked you in to the point where it was like, this is what I'm doing? As
a young Andruw, I mean, I was all just play sport and hanging out. I break a lot of windows in the neighborhood. So at one point, my mom was like, enough. Tell my dad, hey, take this kid to a freaking baseball field so he can play. And, that was the start. And I think when my dad dropped me off, I was not wanted to be there because I was like, nah, I started crying. I was like, I don't want to be here. I want to go home. I like to play at home.
Yeah.
And I think when I started feeling comfortable, and it was just like maybe couple hours later, I felt comfortable. I started making friends with the guys that was on my teammate and the coaches. And after that was the history, to be honest with you. They couldn't get me off the field. Every weekend, I would walk to my coach's house like an hour and a half before we even have to leave, just to go about him and say, hey, let's go. We got to go, and we got to go pick everybody up so we can go to the field and play the game. So, I think that's what the love of the game started for me. But be honest with you, I kind of dialed it in and got really more focused and noticing more about it. I think around 12, I felt like I was good enough to compete with older kids. And I think that's why the time that, things started a little bit for me. But, I always loved the game. I always tell my mom I want to play baseball on TV. I never told them I want to be professional. I just wanted to be playing baseball on TV. And that was one of those things that I told my mom since I was a little kid. And, in 93, we got an opportunity to sign with the Braves. And I took that risk. It was tough because, I didn't finish high school. I was middle of high school around when I was 15 and a half years old. So I had to make a big move, big decision. And, a lot of talk with my parents, my dad. My dad really told me, say, listen, if you're going to do this, there's no way back home. And, it was tough for a 15-year-old kid and tell you, hey, this is a one-way thing. It's no coming back because there's nothing for you when you come back. Right. And, it's not in a bad way as like, hey, we're not going to have no family, you're not going to have nothing. It was just this, are you focused? Is this what you want to do? Is this really, I'm going to help you, but you have to do it yourself. And I think that's why he meant it's one way. It's no coming back.
Is it true the Braves, when they went there to Curaçao, they were looking at somebody else and they saw you?
Well, yeah, it was a true story. I think it was in the year of, I think it was like 92, maybe. A scout came to look at this catcher that was really good, and I still remember. We still friend. Very good player. Was a lead player at his age at that time, and I end up moving up to that league because I finished my age group already. So I move up to go look at it, just to get a chance to see what we're looking for next year. And my dad was the coach for that team back then. And somebody got hurt. I got in, and I ended up hitting 2 home runs. And the scout was like, who's this kid? They knew I was kid of Andruw Jones, that is a very good baseball player back home back then, a very good athlete, and he went to Pan American in 5 different sports. So my dad was very athletic. They know I was there, but they didn't know who I was.
So you're Andruw Jones' second.
No. My dad is Andruw Jones. I'm Andruw Jones.
Say the first part?
My dad is Henry.
Henry
Yeah.
Jones.
Yeah, my dad is Henry. I'm Andruw.
Got it.
They knew about me, but they didn't know what I can do.
Mm-hmm.
And, saw me go into the game, coming from the bench, hit 2 home runs, and, got attention from the scout. And after that, they started telling me what I'm thinking, what I want to do. I did a tryout and did later stuff. I never did tryout in Curaçao because there's always been so many, Oakland, Baltimore, Indians. There's a lot of teams that used to come out there and trying to look for kids. I was not the first kid that signed.
Right.
It was probably like 10 kids way before me that signed. I was the one that actually made it. Well, it was one guy that made it before me, as Hansel Mullins, but I was the one that made it and made it a bigger career than everybody else.
Where's the competition come from? Like here in the States, baseball is huge competition.
Yeah.
You guys travel. I mean, you have a son. He grew up in big travel around the country. Even moved to Florida to play for a bit, which is, it's kind of like moving to the United States, moving far away to go play baseball.
Yeah. I mean, the competition always been big. I mean, we don't play a lot of games. I think it is what it is. We it's a very rec ball, but it's a very competitive rec ball.
12, 15 games?
We play probably a year. We play probably about 20 games. That's crazy. We get, if you look at population wise, we got more Major League Baseball player than Dominican Republic. I mean, population wise, but we only play like 20 to 30 games a year.
These kids, they play 20 games in a weekend.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. These kids now, they play so many. And, it's nothing against that. I see it and I experience it, and I try to do some stuff back home. And I hosted Andruw Jones League for a month, just for the kids to play before they get ready for their main season. So I do stuff like that just to get the kids to have more games. I mean, practice, yes, but you get better when you play the game. You will know where your skill are at when you play the game, because it's more action right there. It says you see the ground ball and I move you around and this and that. It's part of the practicing, but the game is the part where it's like, I need you to play more games so I can see where we need to work on.
When did it click for you?
Click as professional or amateur?
Amateur.
Amateur, it was like around 13 years old. It kind of clicked in, and I was like, okay, I think I can do it. Professionally, as soon as I get here, I was just like, I think I can be better than these guys.
Yeah.
And I think that was my mindset. I wanted to be better than everybody else at my position, and that's what I work hard at it. And I think that was the mindset that I put on, that my dad gave me since I was a little kid. And stuff that I developed myself as, I have to take advantage because I'm an other. I'm not from the United States, because, if you're from the States, you get chance to get more opportunities. I'm not gonna say anything not from anybody else, not that the kids from Latin America or the Caribbean or anywhere else don't get that equal chance. But I think in America, all the guys get more chance because they don't need a visa to come over here and play. We need a visa to come here to play, and each team get that many visa. So every year is another kid that's coming behind you that think that they think that
they want to be the best guy.
Yeah, they think that, the scout and say, hey, this is a kid that we like and we're going to give him opportunity. So if you're not taking advantage of the opportunity that keep going and keep, graduating to the next level, you stay there, you're going to lose that visa. Mm-hmm. You're not losing your dream. Mm-hmm. You're not losing the plane. You're just losing your visa because you're not graduating. Mm-hmm. You're not moving on. So you stay there, you're going to lose your visa, and then somebody else is going to take it. And that's how I look at it.
What would you say, like, because you had you at 13, and then you had the fast track to be, I think you said, in the World Series at 19. Mm-hmm. You got drafted at what?
I didn't draft. I signed when I was 16.
16?
Yeah.
Damn. So 16, and that's when you really went pro. But what was like, what would you say, or I guess others would say from a scouting report standpoint, like what was your thing? What was your it? Like what was the thing that really made you special as a center fielder and probably one of the best, players and coaches say you're probably one of the best to ever play the position. But what was that thing that you did that you had that just made you special out there?
I have fun with it, man. I have fun. It was fun, It's one of those things they tell you all the time, continue to have fun. I tell all have fun because it's a game of failure. You when you start putting too much mind in, I did it. I'm a part of the one that put pressure on myself because I'm not having a good year, but you just have fun. Have fun because, if you have the talent and you work hard at it, it's going to pay off. So, go back to say what made me drive the most. I think I had a talent. God gave me a talent, and I think we all have talent. Some of them take advantage of it early. Some of them take advantage of it later. But I think everybody have a talent to do it. And I think I go back again. I say if you take advantage of the opportunity and you go out there and work hard, it's going to pay off. And, like I say, I always wanted to be best at my position, and I had great coaches. I have a very good mentor. My dad was one of the bigger mentors for me. But when I came into the States, I don't get a chance to talk with my dad that much. So I had to look for other mentors that I think that give me that guidance give me the truth of what I need to get better. I had guys like Gary Pettis, guys like Willie Stargell. I had great coaching staff, from rookie league all the way to AAA, and then after that, get one of the biggest manager in my career, that is Bobby Cox, that believe in me and say, hey, go do you. And I think that was the part that kind of set me up as, I didn't want to let none of these guys down. I wanted to be the best in my position.
When I came in, I was 20 years old when I came to the Ravens, but we had a lot of veterans, and I think Ray probably was the one that stuck out that at the time that kind of took me under his wing. And as a 20-year-old, I was able to kind of see a veteran leading tackler, defensive player of the year. I was able to be around that and pull that. Who was that guy for you as a veteran that kind of, because at 19 years old, somebody, you had to be, you have some kind of mentor, somebody in the locker room that was that guy that kind of helped you and guided you.
It was tough, man. It was tough. I had guys that helped, Marquise Grissom talk with me. But it's hard when you that young and you come in and you probably the it guy coming through the minor league, and a lot of guys kind of look at you a different way. It's like, hey, you're probably going to be taking over this thing.
Right.
So it's hard to get like a very, one guy that actually mentor. I'll be honest with you, I didn't have one.
Wow.
I didn't have one.
Because they were coming off that World Series.
Yeah, everybody was coming in that World Series of 95. So I didn't really had a mentor, to be honest with you. I had guys that I talk with them. We hang out, we went to dinner and stuff like that. But I never had one guy that was like, hey, Andruw, I'm going to take care of you. And I have that. I heard about it, guys doing that before, but I never did. And, I think, that's why I went, that's why I had to grow up fast, I think. I had to go quick because I ain't had nobody to kind of like telling you, hey, Andruw, they tell you what not to do and stuff like that. But, the off the field part, even in the game situation, you just know that this is how you're gonna learn by making mistakes. So I never had like a one mentor guy. To be honest with you, I had guys that I look after. I see what they do or how they go about their business, but never sit down and talk and say, "Hey, Andruw, this is I'm gonna take care of you. I'm gonna take you under my wing."
Yeah.
Glavine, Maddox, Chipper Jones,
Yeah.
Smoltz. Best players, some of the best players that ever played the game.
I
What
was
was that clubhouse like?
I was lucky to play with so many Hall of Fame, and I learned by seeing how they go about their business. Like I said, they never took me under the wing, but I watch. I always was very and just kind of like look and see what other people do, what they go about this, but I never ask. I think one of those things that now when I go talk with kids, I say, hey, please ask the question, because I was just like you guys. I never ask. You listen and you watch, and a lot of people don't watch. Probably some people don't listen. So I was very listening and watch what they do and how they go about the business. So I was very lucky enough to be on a team that had so many Hall of Fame. I was thinking about that the other day. I mean, like, I don't know how many Hall of Famers play with many Hall of Famers on the same team.
Yeah.
And, I think I was lucky enough to do that.
Oh, you went to the Yankees as well?
Yes, even with the Yankees, I played with Ichiro and Jeter and Mariano. So, I got a chance to play with a lot of Hall of Fames, and, it's a great honor to be on those great teams. So, go back of, in the clubhouse, that we didn't have a lot of rules, but we have just one rule. We're going to respect each other, and we're not going to play music in the clubhouse, period. That was the only rules that we had. We're going to respect each other, and we're going to have no music. If you want to have music, you put music in your iPad. We never play loud music in the clubhouse. I started hearing music in the clubhouse when I left the Atlanta Braves. Be honest with you. We never, and Bobby was very strict about it, because he was one of those guys that think that, all right, so not everybody want to hear country music. Not everybody want to hear rap music. Everybody want to hear Latin music.
I can respect that.
So he didn't want to have everybody be fighting on the thing and say who, what music we're going to play today or what we're going to go there. So he was very straight about that, and I think that was one of the rules that I kind of respected. But me, I really didn't care what kind of music he'll play or not. But I respect that, and I always thought it was a good thing. And I think the only thing is that I would have changed from Bobby Rose was I would have my kids come in the clubhouse a little bit more to be more around, and Bobby did not like that. The family will be out. This is our family. This is our clubhouse. The rest of the family need to be out or on the field.
Is that how it is now with Weiss?
No, I don't think so. I don't know.
Yeah, you talk about family, like, you playing 100, what is it, 160?
Only 62 games.
162
probably,
games.
You probably play 170 something games with the playoffs and all that stuff if you go all the way.
As a fan, like, what is that experience like, playing 162 games a year? Just staying focused, staying in a routine. You're traveling, like you just said, your family.
Yeah.
You want to see them more, and that's probably one of the reasons why, because you gone all the time.
The thing is that when you say 162 games, everybody go like, "Whoa, really?" But you don't think about it. To be honest with you, I have not think about it when I was in my prime of playing the game. I think about it when I'm gonna sit on the bench. I'm thinking about it when I'm watching the game. I'm like, these guys got to go out here and play, and it's just, this heat. But when I was in my prime playing, I really did not think about it at all, because it was just, that was my job. That was my routine. That was my game plan that, as soon as we walk into spring training, our goal is get ready, go out there and win a championship. And I think that was our mindset. So we didn't think about, the 162 games, some of them was lucky enough that, some of the family will travel with you. Some of them got small kids that cannot travel, but you always had that partner that took care of the household and made sure that, when the kids can be around, they're around so they can they can see the dad, what their dad do, and grow up around the game. So it's tough. It's tough for a family, but that's why you chose. You choose that. You choose to do that. So you have to have a partner or a family that can understand that this is your job, and we have to sacrifice a lot of stuff and wait till that thing is over so we can all do stuff together as a family. So it's tough, but I think the family will understand what the mindset is, because when that season starts, it's a long one, and it's a lot of up and down. It's a lot of stuff that can go wrong, injuries, or struggling at the play, or struggling defensively, or whatever. So it's a lot of stuff. So all you need from your family, to be honest with you, as a family, is the support. If they support you, that's all matter. It doesn't matter the struggling and all the stuff. It's just the support of your family that be there and keep your head up and tell you to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Speaking of family, your son, he plays. How's he doing?
He's doing all right. And I mean,
Where's he at?
he's in AA with Arizona
Diamondbacks. They're the ones that drafted him?
Arizona Diamondback drafted him in 2021, I think.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I don't really remember.
Wow, that's
It happened so fast that it's just those things that I think one thing I told him, as a father, you don't want to see your kids failure. You don't want to see your kids do bad. But I told him, I say, hey, it's a tough job.
Mm-hmm.
You make the decision. I can't help you. I only can help you about guide you and tell you stuff that I know. But you still got to go out there and do it yourself. I cannot hold your hand. So you got to go out there and learn the failure, so you can, so when one day when you make it, you know what the failure is, so you can adjust yourself to that moment. So, he's doing good. He's learning. I like that he's moving up every year. Like we say earlier, just like, anybody that come from a different country, you don't want to stay in the same spot, because it's going to be somebody else coming every year. So you want to continue to graduate and go to the next level, the next year go to the next level, and continue to learn. And at some point when you get to that AAA, the situation is right, everything is doing good, you might get that phone call. So, it's just continue to graduate for him.
Your boy plays too.
Yeah, man, I got a 16-year-old. So I remember talking to you when you had your son at, was it 6'4",
6'3", yeah.
6'3", because you got me hooked up over there.
Yeah.
And I took my son over there, and we found out baseball.
Not his thing.
Baseball wasn't his thing.
Yeah.
But, he started playing football and like just going through the training and doing, giving him all the resources, and he, figured out that he really wanted to do it because he was doing stuff on his own. But I just really just offer the resources. You got to put in the work, but here's the resource, because I'm going to help you from that standpoint, but you got to put in the work, you got to put in the time and the effort and everything else. And that's, and we're going into our junior year now. And he's getting bigger, faster, stronger, and just seeing that development. And
did he play it all the time, or he would just I didn't want to play it? He would just, I want to play baseball.
No,
he always played football.
He always played football.
Okay,
but because his buddies, it's like, let's play. We're playing baseball. This, when baseball season rolled around.
Yeah. He played all the sports.
He played, he pitched, and but we was playing over Chastain, NYO, for a while, and that's where I learned really like just the difference in the competition and everything else. Because when you send us to 6'4",
yeah,
that's different.
They played catch. First thing they do is play catch. And these kids are 9 years old, and it's zipping. Like, and my son is like, he's like,
yeah.
And then, but we never played on that level.
So, competition is big. I think that's why in the States, competition is very, because so many age groups, so many teams, so many neighborhoods, so many teams that do different stuff. So I think competition is a very important in every sport, to be honest with you. You can have some high school kids that play baseball, but then when they go to a travel team, they struggle because the competition from high school to a travel ball team is a big difference. So, I think competition is very important on what level that you want your kid to be at. Those teams, they're always trying to get the right kids so they can develop them, so they can say that, hey, I developed ABZ kid to be, signed as a professional or went to a D1 college school because he learned from us. And so, the competition is always, that's how the competition starts.
So in 2005, you hit 51 home runs. That's a lot of home runs for any season, for any player. You didn't hit 51 home runs every year. And some years, I'm not even sure what your lowest numbers were. What did it feel like to come out of a slump or enter a slump, or is that even thought about?
Well, a slump start when people tell you didn't get a hit in about 30 at-bats. That's how the slump start. So I think that's why.
You start thinking about it.
So, you start thinking about the stuff. But, Aldo, yourself, you're not getting a hit. They post the batting average up there. That thing is going down. So that. Slump. It's a good question. I don't know who came up with that word slump.
It's just I'm not getting it. I'm not playing well right now.
Well, we don't use it in any other part of the English language.
Yeah.
Oh, really? You did you Google it?
No. But let me think about it.
What's the word slump? What's the word slump mean?
Well, I don't have a definition for you. That's my point. It's like,
so who came up with the word slump?
I don't know. We don't use it like oh, you're really slumping at the front desk over here, right? Or you're really slumping drinking that coffee. You're slumping driving your. We don't use.
So that means you're struggling. That's the word of struggling.
I guess. I don't
it's a slang word. It's a slang word. Is it a slang word?
It feels like a slang word because we don't use it any other time.
I've had consecutive games where either you didn't score a touchdown or you're averaging 3 yards a carry or something like that. You're not breaking 100.
You're in a carry slump?
And you're in a slump. Reporter would be like, hey, seems like you guys are in a slump or in the run game and this and the other. I'm like, but you really accept it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, we are in a slump.
So you say,
how do you break the slump?
So us as a player accepted the slump word.
I think we accepted it.
We accept the slump. Oh man, that's crazy. I would be like, nah, man, I'm just struggling right now.
Yeah,
and things not going my way. Slump. I should have asked that question before when I got to that opportunity.
Yeah.
Just now that you just say it, I didn't know it was not in the freaking dictionary.
We don't know. I didn't say it's not in the dictionary. I'm just saying we don't use it in conversation any other way. The only time it's used is for athletes.
Struggling. I'm not going as a slump. Struggling is part of the game. I think you have to struggle to learn to get better. When you go in 30 at bats not getting a hit, it's a tough run. Like I said, everybody's gonna ask you, hey, what are you doing wrong? Why are you doing this? Or somebody's gonna come tell you, hey, you need to do this. You need to start hitting the ball the other way and stuff like that. You work on those things and trying to get out of it. But those years that things were going good for me, it really doesn't matter what they throw out there. But when things are not going good, they can throw the fastball right in the middle and I fall it back or I miss it. So that is the game. Nobody is perfect. I think who got the all-time batting average? Tony Gwynn. He put the ball in play. He got a lot of outs.
Sure,
he's got a lot of outs. But
conversely, at 100 at bats, if you get 30 hits, you're an all-star.
That's all. I think that's why if you're a young kid and you start thinking about that, you just be, hey, that's pretty easy, and you just go out there and do it.
3 out of 10.
3 out of 10. Make sure you get one hit, drag bunt or something.
Which is a failing grade at any test in any classroom in the country.
Just that's why the game is a game of failure. Yeah. So, even if you fail, you're still going to be a 300 hitter.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's a good sport. I mean, to be honest with you, it's so hard to hit. It's so hard to focus on the same thing every single day. But
that's what I was asking. Like, you got 162 games. Like, I just had to focus on Sunday. Mm-hmm. On one Sunday, a Sunday out of the week. Mm-hmm. But like, you're going day after day after day playing a game where it matters, and you got to focus and hone in. Like,
and these games are slow.
Yeah, but that's
comparison.
The focus is hard. You know, one little misfocus, you miss a pitch. One little misfocus, you drop a ball. You know what I mean? So the focus on, you know, it's 9 inning. It's every pitch. You know, I mean, you know, sometimes you just start thinking about something else, but you got lucky the ball didn't come to you.
Yeah.
Your mind go away because she's thinking so much. You know what I mean? But you know, but when you're trying to focus and be like, okay, I'm gonna focus on that, and I only have to focus for 3 hours. Let's put it like that. You know, the game will take 3 hours. I'll focus for 3 hours. It's a lot. It's a lot of hours to focus. Be honest with you, because you know everything go as a preparation, right?
Preparation. That's what I'm saying. Even preparation. Like I know we had a week. We had at least 3 days to prepare for an opponent. So I'm able to study the defense, study the linebackers, study how they move and this and the other. Like you got to study pitchers, you got to study hitters, you know, and it's just not for that one day of the week.
Yeah.
You got to do that. You got this. Well, you might have the same team.
Yeah, we're gonna play, you know, a series of 3, a series of 4. You're probably gonna see all 4 pitches that they have, or 3 pitches that they have. If you know you compare in different sport and stuff like that, it's because like, okay, if you have a player in the high level, you would have been like, yeah, that's what we did. It's tough, but that's what we did. You know what I mean? And that's why we got consistent at it, a little bit more consistent than anybody, because your focus level was a little higher than others. You know, you might have did right thing more than others. That's why you all-star game this year, or you know, you guys went to the World Series this year because as a team you were very consistent and you did everything right, and that's how you end up winning. So you know, it's baseball really come as it's no individual part of it, but when you at the defense, but when you catch the ball, you have to throw it in the first base. So you got to count on the first base to catch the ball. So it's a lot of stuff going on. You know, you got to count on the pitches to throw strikes or throw pitches that so they can hit ground balls or hit lazy fly balls. So it's a lot of stuff. It's always team. And, you know, football is the same thing, because when, you know, you have to look for everybody to block the right way for you to have that little gap so you can go through it. You know, so sport is, you know, when they say it's individual, when they put the number on the end of the year, how many carry you had, or how many home runs you hit, or how many RBIs you had. You had so many RBIs because the guys in front of you got on base, and you took advantage of that chance to get RBIs. So that's why you ate all the RBIs. You have 120 RBIs. You know, you have, you know, 1,000 rushing yard in the game because, hey, everything was clicking right. Everybody was pushing the right way. You had the right gap, and you went through it. So everything have to click to you to be successful. You know, struggle is always part of it, and you know, if you don't learn from your struggleness, you're not going nowhere. To be honest with you.
What means more to you, the power numbers or the defensive mastery?
Well, I mean, power. I mean, I had power since I was a young kid. I got started hitting more home runs later in my career because I got older. I got more grown man power. But you know, earlier, you know, I hit over 20 home runs every year, to be honest with you. But defensively, I took a lot of pride in my defense because I wanted to be the best. You know, I grew up loving Ken Griffey. You know, I saw what Ken Griffey did, and I want to be like him. And when I got there, I wanted to be better than him. And, you know, I worked my tail out to be the best at my position, and, you know, it paid off, you know, for 10 years. So to answer that question, defense is my thing, to be honest with you.
Well, you're the best center fielder for a solid 10 years. And the casual listener doesn't realize that you're going to the Hall of Fame this year, and probably for that very reason.
Yeah, I mean,
congrats.
You know, thank you. Got that call, you know, being on the ballot for 8 years. You know, finally got that call. You know, it's a great honor. You know, I say it before, you know, you play this game, you don't play the game to be a Hall of Fame. You play the game because you love this game.
Did you cry?
And no, I don't cry.
No, some people are emotional about it. They would cry.
I got a little. I mean, I don't cry. I got emotional when I talk with my mom.
Yeah.
When I told him, I say, hey, we got the call, and I wish you guys were here with me right now. But that's the only part. But like I say, you don't play this game to be a Hall of Fame. You play the game because you love it. You wanna make a career out of it, and obviously when you consistent, you put great numbers.
I think
Hall of Fame start pop up. But I really never one time, be honest with you, thought about Hall of Fame when I was playing.
not when you're playing, but towards the end of your career, is there a time where, my numbers are actually they're Hall of Fame numbers?
Not be honest with you, not really. Be honest with you, no.
Just keep
When
playing.
when I was done, I was done, and I went to Japan for played 2 years, and when I came back, I actually retired. The Braves retired me because they called me and say, "Hey, Andruw, we're gonna put you in the Braves Hall of Fame," and I was like, "I'm not done playing," but I talked with my dad, and my dad said, "Why you want to go out there and keep chasing around and not playing every day? If you feel you have enough, just call it." So I think I told John Shorthouse that I was on a golf trip. I told him, I said, give me a call when I come back. And when I came back, I made a decision, and they hired me as a assistant to the GM then, and I finally retired, and they put me in the Braves Hall of Fame.
What year was that?
2016.
What was Japan like playing ball?
Man, Japan is awesome, man. I didn't want to come back. Be honest with you, it was so much fun. But my kids were at the age that I needed to be around, and be more around of them because they were getting that teenager age. So
I hear Japan has the best food in the world right now.
It's always been the best food in the world.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing better than that. I mean, good Lord. When I retired, when I got done playing from there, I went every year till the pandemic. I was going there, do charity event, just to go there to be there. I always do charity event stuff. I always like to help others raise money. I fly out there, do that, and get a chance to enjoy Japan. Not as a baseball player, but as a fan.
Cool. As a tourist. Nice. You been to Japan?
Never. I was just about to ask you the same thing. You been to Japan?
No, I wanted to go.
You guys are missing.
Man, I didn't go.
Actually, to be honest with you, it's not a bad flight from Atlanta. It's not a bad flight, guys. Everybody
Like 9
think it's about it's about 12.
Is it?
It's not a bad flight. Be honest with you. You get up there, you take your Ambien, you take something, and you have one. You have one. You
Scared to take Ambien. I've heard crazy stories of people on Ambien.
I don't take it. I'm just saying, for people that have problem flying along, you just take Ambien, or you take some Zeke,
Xanax. Take some gummies.
Xanax, or take a gummy.
About 30 milligrams.
Take a gummy, and you just pass out. You wake up. I don't know. Sometimes when you take gummy, you start tripping. Anxiety starting, and you're like in that tube, and you're like, "Oh man, get me out of this tube. I gotta get out."
That'd be
but
awful for me.
I don't have problem. I think I get on the plane. I think I got used to fly already, so I really don't feel anything about it. I get up there, have me a couple glass of Baileys, and watch a movie, and take a nap, and then all of a sudden you're there. Be honest with me.
I grew up, I didn't play much baseball or whatever. My grandma watched baseball. It was on TV every day. Braves was team. Wrestling, we watched wrestling. But the other day I was watching TV and I was watching a baseball game, but it was in Neyland Stadium, and it was the Savannah Bananas.
Yeah.
And that was my first time watching it, but as a baseball player, professional baseball player, like what do you think about the Savannah Bananas? Or that league, period?
They entertain them. They entertainment.
It's like the Globetrotters to me. Like,
yeah.
Do you ever watch them?
It's like the Globetrotters.
Yeah, that was my first time. So
it's entertainment. I think that that guy came up with a concept, very entertainment. They're doing really good, I guess.
Selling out everywhere.
Not following. I'm not following that close, but I know every time when they come to Truist, they sold out. So that's all I know. Yeah. But it's entertainment. It's fun. They asked me to be part of it a bunch of times, but I told them not because I'm not going to embarrass myself out there when it's already more embarrassment than anything. So,
have you seen that video of that left fielder catching that ball, doing a backflip at the same time?
Yeah, that's all.
Like
I mean, I see on social media, they post a lot on social media, so I watch what they do and stuff like that. It's entertainment. I guess a lot of kids love it.
There's 100,000 people at the stadium.
No, it's actually bringing more eyes to baseball.
And that's the really want to know too. Like, what does it do for the game of baseball?
It will never get to the major league because I think major league's got the unruled reds and stuff that that's a little
but
tacky.
it still puts more eyes on baseball.
Well, I mean,
my daughter, for instance, she doesn't watch baseball, but she watched the Bananas. And
yeah,
now
I mean,
she's interested in
it's
baseball.
because it's entertainment. It's an entertainment business for them. They in entertainment and they do all the stuff. They dance, they put music around. They always pick, funny stuff. Like if you drop the ball, you can run around the bases and trying to score at certain minutes, whatever it is. So I haven't gone watch any game of them, to be honest.
I haven't
with
seen any other.
Yeah, I don't know how big the league is. I don't know how many.
I think they have like five teams or 6 teams. I know they got
The Bananas have a couple teams, but then how many?
they have
cities?
one is something Black Clowns or something that Bradley Jr. playing in. He play in it.
Yeah.
He play on that team. He hit home runs left and right. So it's entertainment. But some guys, I do some research. They ex-baseball players, they from college to minor league or from independent league. If you have a great follower, you can join that team. You can join the league, and they will really accept you. And you go out there and play. And I don't know how much money they make because I'm sure they the league is making a lot of money. So some of these guys are getting paid.
Yeah.
So it's very entertainment. When you say put eye on baseball, it's a different way of saying it, to be honest with you. Baseball is
more eyes.
Baseball is a national baseball. Baseball is global, anywhere.
Sure.
I mean, I know. Yeah, we had a lot of discussions, and I think when people was talking about, the baseball player was greedy when we win that first strike. I think in '94 or something like that. I think when they had the strike, people was like, this baseball player is there, but it's a business. The people that own it is a business. It's the owners are making so much money. And if the owners don't want to pay the guys, they put a salary cap from the beginning. But they the one are paying this guy so much money. They ain't put a gun on nobody's head and say, I'm going to give you $350 million or $750 million.
Yeah,
Oh, nobody put a gun on it. They say, hey, we're going to give you this. Okay, of course, I'm going to sign it. You know what I mean? So the owner are the same part of it. You can see both sides, but I think nobody's putting a gun in your head and say, sign this 10-year, $1 billion.
When's that coming?
I don't know.
Probably 10. Another 10
Weren't
years.
you coaching or something? I see.
Yeah, I was coaching the Kingdom of the Netherlands team. We did the WBC. That was very big too. So talk about eye for baseball. That was the
world baseball is
that's big.
How was that experience?
It's always great. I play it, I coach it. This year I manage it. So it's always been big, and I think every year is getting bigger. I think when we started this in 2006, it was like, everybody's talking about it, the world, this and that. But in the last 3 ones that they play, it got really, really big, and a lot of people are focused on it. And, you seeing that other teams are winning it. It's great. It's great for baseball, to be honest with you. It's always good playing for your country, Say, see if if it was a different league of football, in Europe or Australia, and then you guys doing a World Cup or World Cup of NFL, and you got a chance to represent United States to go beat up on Europe, beat up on Australia, beat up on South America or whatever the other countries that have NFL teams. You know what I mean? So it's something like that. So it's a great event. I think guys after that was talking about, hey, we don't have to wait 4 years for this. We can do it every 2 years. But, I think that's what owners, what jump in and say no, because some of the guys that go and play, some of them get hurt, some of them not have a good start of the season, so they make excuse about the WBC. But it's a great tournament. It's a lot of stuff that we can change on it, that we can make it better. If we don't have, if they have so many pitch limit on guys, extend the roster, make the roster 40, make it as a sprint training. Give everybody the equal chance of this guy can throw one inning, and we got treat it as sprint training. They extend the roster a little bit, but it's not big enough because everybody. I think right now it's like 30. You can extend it, and make it
easier for everybody to play.
Make everybody to play, and you have more pitching, so you don't have to worry this guy gonna get hurt because he cannot throw 2 innings or he cannot throw 3 innings. Got many pitchers, just rotate and get the right ones and go out there and play the game. So those little things can change, but I think that's a great event. People love it. I was lucky to be in Miami when this year, and that stadium was unbelievable. I never see that stadium that sold out in my eyes being in there or being part of baseball. Right. So it was wild.
So coaching
was awesome.
In your future?
No, be honest with you, I like short tournaments, be honest with you.
How was that?
I won't say no, but I like short tournaments, man. I enjoy short tournaments.
U.S. Dominican game, did you get to see it?
I watch it on TV. I wasn't there. I watched Dominican and Venezuela.
Yeah.
That was a good game, too. I mean, it was, golly, I never see so many good-looking women in the stadium.
Yeah.
Hoorah.
In a long time. And I mean, it was freaking ridiculous. I mean, they came out, and everybody that really didn't know nothing about baseball was there.
More eyes.
It was sold out. The tickets were hot. So, I think, like I say, everybody's talking about trying to do it, in 2 years and stuff like that. But we'll see when this new regular agreement come up and see where we're going to add with this. But, I think everybody was talking before about, this might be the last year of the WBC. I don't think so. What we experienced this past year, I don't think it's going to be the last one.
It's gotten better every year.
Yeah. It's going to be, I think the next one is 2030, I think. So.
Oh, wow.
So it's going to be interesting again.
So the World Baseball Championship is ending not till 2030?
No. The next one is 2030.
Got you.
So every 4 years, right?
Yeah, every 4 years they play it.
Are you going to any World Cup games?
I'm going to World Cup game. We talk about Curaçao being part of it this year. We were lucky enough. I say lucky. We play for it, but I would say lucky because you have to have luck.
Yeah.
And
right draw.
You have to have the right sport. In their sport, you got to have some luck. We were lucky enough that this year they expand the rosters. We have extra teams that came in that, to be part of it. And we played good enough to qualify in it. And we got a chance to beat Jamaica and tie with them. And then by tying them, I think when was this? In November, we tied them and got us a ticket to the World Cup. So, it's very, very excited for the island of Curaçao, very excited for the soccer fans in Curaçao to get the first time to be in the World Cup. It's going to be the smaller island or the smallest country ever to make the World Cup. I know it was Cabo Verde before. So if you know Cabo Verde is a small place.
You're smaller.
It's smaller than Cabo Verde. So, just to be the smaller country to make it to the World Cup is going to be exciting. I mean, I'm going to Houston for the first one against Germany.
Is that where they're at? They're in the.
Everybody go different places though. I mean, you play one. They're going to play one in Houston, one in Philadelphia, and one in Kansas City.
Gotcha.
So they just have them all around the places. But I'm going to go to the first one in Houston against Germany. It's going to be a tough game, but. The German never play good the first game because they never kind of feel each other yet. I think you get them on the second round, they're gonna beat the crap out of you. So, we sit in a good seat. We got Ecuador, that's a good team. We got Ivory Coast that they're always solid. So we got some tough competition, but I think if we can get a couple tie in there. that chance to advance for the second round.
My favorite thing about the World Cup is that you got all these teams, different countries around the world, and the teams play their personality on the field. You see how they play is kind of how they are in real life. Like the Brazilians are brash and flashy. The Germans are very methodical and linear.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a style that Curaçao is going to play with that is going to look? Oh, that looks like Curaçao.
Nah, they got flavor. They just got the flavor, just like everybody. And, it's hard. A lot of those guys, they all play in Europe. They all play secondary teams in Europe.
Right.
I don't know. We have maybe one or two that play in the higher level in Europe, but all of them play in Europe. They just kids that grew up in Curaçao, families from Curaçao that went to Europe to chase their dream in soccer. And, they all got that flavor in them. Like I say, Curaçao is a very mixed island. It's so weird because it's so close to, South America and, have some Netherlands, Dutch, European people there. You got the Africans, so it's a flavor island, to be honest with you.
Well, this is the To Live Well podcast, and we always like to ask, what are you doing to live well?
Just trying to live.
Just trying
Stay
horizontal?
Just trying to stay straight above the ground.
Vertical?
We talk about the career and all the stuff, when you're young, everything is easy for you. You wake up, I bounce off that wall if I want to and just keep going. When you're old enough, you hit that wall, you might be down for a week. Right. You know what I mean? So, it's a lot of stuff. I try some stuff to give me that youth energy back, that youth feeling. Mm-hmm. And that's what I do now. And, I try it. And it's hard for me to stay consistent on it.
Right, like peptides and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's so hard because I travel so much, and you have to be consistent and for it to work. So I try to get consistent on it, but I feel good. Honestly, with you, I feel good. I wake up. I think my thing that I do after my career, I try not to stress about a lot of stuff that I can't control. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's how I live my life. Trying to be as positive and as out of the way of things, so can continue to move over.
What's your favorite sunflower seeds?
Oh, wow. Golly, my phone. Hey, man.
We're trying to get a sponsor, so just...
Hey, let me pull it out here real quick. I sent it to my son the other day, man. Me and my son, every time when we get a chance to go to Dick's, we go out there and we look for this fall because they're the only one that carry it, man. It's so weird.
What flavor?
It's a weird flavor. I'm about to tell you right now. I gotta look at it. I just took a picture. If I drove by a Dick's, I would stop.
Dill
and
pickle? You like dill pickle?
No, that's a weird one.
It's called Sweet and Spice.
Oh, okay.
Jumbo David's.
Yeah, sweet and spice.
Sweet and spice.
Sweet and spice jumbo. We got to try some of those.
That it's so sweet. It's spice too on it. Me and my son, we kill it all the time. We actually kill it. If I pass by Dick's, I see it. I stop by because I didn't see it nowhere else in other places. Like Quick Trip or all these other places. Yeah. They don't have it. So I like that a lot.
There's a Dick's right down the street.
Yeah.
Might stop there.
being in the ballpark with my son at a young age, but that's all they wanted was some sunflower seeds.
Yeah.
They're just chewing the whole thing up, just spitting them out.
Yeah.
Just wear them
and
out.
then they got a bunch of flavors came out.
Yeah.
What the hell? Yeah.
Just wear his jaw out.
Well, I mean, golly, if you put 1,000 in your mouth, it's gonna wear it. It's supposed to have just a little handful of it.
Yeah, it's an art, though. It's
yes,
art. It's art to it.
Yeah, like a canker sore.
It's art to it. We started using them on sidelines and stuff, but they started telling us we couldn't because you end up seeing on the turf. You see
people be mad. People be mad as hell.
Yeah, right.
Did you dip when you play?
No, I didn't dip. So the offensive linemen's dip.
Oh, really?
They were the biggest ones that dipped, and then
Country White Boys.
My fullback.
Oh, really?
Fullback. Well, my one fullback, Sam Gass, man. I didn't understand how he practiced, played. He had dip in his lip,
Swallowed,
and he had a can in his sock.
Socks.
And I'm like, how do you do that? Like, how do you do that? Like, I don't know. My first time dipping, my first and last.
You're puking everywhere.
I was sleep, puking. I was out of it.
Stuff was so bad for you.
I didn't never go back.
Poor Tony Gwynn, God rest his soul.
When those guys run people over, they'll probably be spitting in people's faces with that crap, right?
Yeah, probably so. But that's just I just never did it. But the linemen, man, they kept that. They stopped it now though. You can't even. I think even bring it in the deal.
Yeah, I think all professionals trying to knock it out. You know, it's so many now though. They have like the zinc, whatever.
Yeah, Zen.
Zen package.
Zen. Yeah,
nicotine packs that, you know, people talk more about it. You don't see a lot of people dip no more though.
Zen things burn.
Oh, really? I never did. I never did.
One good word for the young kid that's living on an island all by himself.
Well, man, we talk about it so many times. You know, take advantage of the opportunity. You know, if is that what you want to do, put it in front of you, chase it, and continue to learn, continue to get better.
That's a great word. I think a lot of people question how you got the opportunity because we're talking about an island with 100,000 people on it. And for an island of 100,000 people, and for one of the best center fielders to ever play the game to come off of this little island, I mean,
But the opportunity, it seems like
you took the opportunity. Yeah,
it seems like you got in that game that your dad was coaching.
Yeah,
and you hit them 2 home runs.
That was the opportunity.
That was the opportunity. Somebody got hurt.
Yeah, somebody got hurt. The door opened. I walk in and I did what I was supposed to do, or I did. Yeah. And you know, nothing is supposed to do. You know, you're supposed to go out there and play the game and have fun.
You caught the eye.
I caught the eye of what I did. Yeah. And I think in life and everything, you know, when you walk in the door and somebody walk in the door, you know how to act. You elegant, you nice, you proper, you humble, catch the eye of anybody. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I think that's what I tell kids. Mm-hmm. Any sport, life, whatever you want, you know, be humble. I think one thing my mom told me, and, you know, we didn't talk much about my mom, but my mom told me always, hey, continue to be humble because the humbleness is going to take you a long way. You know, when you're arrogant, it's not going to work. And yeah, it works for some people, but for a lot of them, it don't because your humbleness is going to take you a long way. Your humbleness is going to give you more opportunity, to be honest with you, too. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. When you're arrogant, you struggle.
Shut some doors.
You shut doors. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But if you're humble, you're a good kid. You do the right thing. They can see you work. You struggle, they're going to continue to give a chance. You struggle, they're going to continue to give a chance. So you might have 10 more chances than arrogant than you will know about. So I think humbleness, continue to work hard, trying to learn every day, and take advantage of that opportunity.
And it's not a slump.
No slumps.
It's not a slump. I'm struggling. I'm just struggling today.
Your kid's got humility as well. You have a nice kid.
Yeah. You got to teach them that, and that's one thing I always did. But got to be
and,
humble and hungry.
And your kid's got humility as well. He's a nice kid as well.
Yeah, I mean, you know, all my kids are. You know, they know what they want. You know, you got to tell them early, and I think that's what my dad told me too. Early, you need to know what you want, so you can then focus on it. You know what I mean? And if you know what you want at an early age, it's a great thing. You know, my daughter graduated Georgia Tech. You know, she know what she wanted and she focused on it, and now she's doing great. So she have her own thing going on. So, you know, if you focus early on what you want, you're going to get it sooner than later.
I tell you what, at 15 years old, I was not in a position to make a life decision that you made, which is it's
you know, like we talked earlier. I mean, you know, I was lucky. I work hard. I had the talent, and I took advantage of it. You know, I think now that, you know, I'm old enough, I'm trying to teach these other kids to say, hey, you can be me, but it's hard, and you know, a lot of guys don't make it. So now that I have opportunity. I do charity work. I help kids from Curaçao to come to the States to chase that dream, but get the education. And if you're good enough, you get drafted from a high school, good for you. But if you're not good enough and you have a talent, go to college, get your college degrees so it can help you later on in your life. So I think that's why I focus on so much, the last 6 years. I focus on that, trying to get back with the kids from Curaçao so they can come here and because when you're 16, you can sign out of Curaçao easy. Will they pay you enough money? Maybe, maybe not. Depends how good you are. Will you come to the States? No, you will go to the Dominican Republic. So you have to go to the Dominican Republic, pass that test, and then come to the States. So it says I can bring you to the States and you get your education and chase your dream here because it's bigger. You know what I mean? It's harder from the island. It's harder. It's a visa thing. It's you fighting hungry kids that want to do the same thing that you do. Not that you don't get it here in the States, but the opportunity is bigger.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can go to a school and you stand out. If you go to Dominican Republic, you be the third or fourth or 10 best player on that team. You have to completely stand out. And that's a good thing too. Don't get me wrong. It teach you things. But I think, if you don't make it, what are you gonna do after that? After you sign 16 years old, you don't have no education. You don't have nothing. You're gonna go home, do what? Work for somebody that you're not gonna reach the potential that you always wanted to reach. Come to the States, get your education, get what you need to do. Because if the baseball you love and you didn't make it, you can always go back to that school that you went to and work for the school in baseball, or work for the school in anything, or work anywhere that you want because you have an education. So I think that's why I focus on most of them.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me, guys.
We really appreciate it.
Congrats too on the Hall of Fame.
Thank you, man.
When is that induction?
July 26th,
July 26th.
Cooperstown, New York.
Might have to make a trip to New York.
Yeah,
Set up shop right there at Cooperstown. Put a little podcast booth in.
I put my
Sounds
Andruw
good.
Jones jersey on.
Sounds good. We can get a couple guys on there. Be guys around that would love to come up and speak for like 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, I'm not sure the Hall of Fame's gonna be that excited about it.
Right.
But we could ask.
Hey, nothing wrong with ask. Hey, ask a question. All you can say no or yes.
Yes, a closed mouth never gets fed.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you again.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate that.